Hi, Adrienne and Evan. It was a pleasure to meet you both today. I'm glad that you were able to get us in with all those other contractors. Thank you for trusting us to come up with a great design for your brand new kitchen. I'm just going to go over a couple things with you, and then you could email me back and we can make changes or rearrange and go from there. You'll see that I have doubles of your pantry and doubles of the refrigerator because there were a couple different options I wanted to show you. But let's start with your lower cabinets because that was your priority. So taking a look at your lower cabinets in the island, on the very first cabinet on the left, I put a double glide out on the bottom and a single height glide out on the top to hold the different things. The reason I gave you a double on the bottom, even though this was going to be glassware, was in case you wanted to stack some bowls or pie plates or things like that. It would give you a little extra stability. We can switch that to a single height though if you wish, and that would look like this. And let me just switch that down to a single for you. And so that cabinet would look like that if you had two singles. Moving over to the center cabinet in your island, we have two glide outs for your pots and pans. Again, this time I gave you a single on the top and a double on the bottom because you're used to using drawers for your pots and pans. So I'm guessing that you probably do a lot of stacking. So if you had a double on the bottom, it would allow you to continue to stack your glide outs, and then a single on the top for your smaller items, lids, maybe frying pans, things like that don't quite need the stability that you would have on the bottom. If you'd like to switch that to two doubles or two singles, we can do that easily as well. Now, over here you have your microwave and your trash system that you already have installed, so we can just bypass these and go over to the other cabinets, lower cabinets that are your priority. Again, mirroring your pots and pans cupboard to the left of your refrigerator, so you have your separate ones for keeping your kitchen kosher. Same thing, we have a double glide out on the bottom and then a single glide out in the center, and we can change these to two singles or two double heights. It's completely up to you. Then to the left of that, we have your sink, and we didn't see your garbage disposal yet, but we assume it's going to be right here on the right hand side. So I put two independent glide outs right here on the bottom, and then an independent riser on the side. Now, we have two different types of risers. This one's independent. The rails are behind the sloped back. We also have a dependent riser, which looks like this. And let me just get rid of this for a second. And it comes out like this. And again, it stays with your glide out the whole time. And you can put your smaller things up there. And this is what it would look like if we did that configuration with the dependent riser. We can also make this glide out here at the bottom, just one big glide out that goes all the way across. And let me show you what that looks like. That'll look like this. And this is the front riser, which we talked about earlier, that you didn't like that. We like the one on the left, so let's switch that back. So this is what it would look like if you just had one big one that went all the way across. Now, also in this cupboard, we talked about doing the tip out trays, and that would look like this. Okay, now moving on to the cabinet that is to the left of the stove. This was going to be a catch-all cabinet, you said. So again, not knowing exactly what was going to go in there, I have a double height glide out on the bottom and a single height glide out on the top. And again, I can change these to being triple high and a double high, or 2 double highs or 2 single highs, whatever you'd like. So that one is the one that's just to the left of the stove, or the area the stove is going. Now, the pantries. I have 2 different options for us to look at the pantries. And we can mix and match this as well. But starting at the bottom, you can either have one glide out all the way across for the wine bottles with the slats, and that should give you 2 to 3 or 2 or 3 rows of wine bottles across, depending on how you stack them in there. Maybe if you're really snug, you could get 4 across if you alternate every other slat. On the left-hand side, this little glide out's not behaving, it's sticking up in the air, but you could have a triple glide out to hold bigger bottles of alcohol upright and still have a smaller wine bottle rack on the right-hand side or left-hand side. Now, the problem with this design is there's all this wasted space right here, and we could build a little wall that goes right up to the next glide out and mount another wine rack there if you wished, but it might just be nice just to have one that goes all the way across. Then working our way up on the right hand pantry, we have baking goods, your jars and smaller boxes, your baggies, saran wrap foils, your canned goods, spices, your medicines. And then up here at the top glide out, I put a slope back on it because we're going to put cereal and dry good containers. And the glide out that has the slope will just give it a little extra support. Now, on the other side, I have the exact same configuration with the exception of the bottom. And the top 2 choices for configurations you could have, if you wanted, you could have the slope backs, which we talked about here, that allow you to get all the things from the very back easily on the sides like that. You can just pull them down. If you want, you can just have one level and leave a solid shelf above it to store things that you only use once or twice a year, or we could do 2 levels of slope backs like we have pictured here. We could also put a divided shelf like you see on the right hand pantry, where you could put many of your muffin tins, cookie racks, things like that can actually have a lot more dividers. I'll show you what that would look like. And this can be mounted right here at the bottom of your upper pantry, allowing you to store things above it that you don't use very often, or you could even move it up if you wished and have it up here at the top, since you're only going to be grabbing the bottom corner of your cookie sheets and baking sheets. And then that would leave you room to put another glide out down below, or the set of 2 glide outs over here you could put below that, or you could leave it a shelf, whatever you prefer. Now, the last thing we looked at was over the refrigerator, and I put 2 different options over here. Because you're having a counter depth fridge, you should be able to reach these pretty easily. You could do the side-by-side glide outs like we discussed. So you can stand there and get the things down from the side that you want to store up there. Or this space would be really, really great for a divided shelf for all of your upright cookie sheets, cookie pans, and things like that. And that would look like this. Okay, so here's just the design for us to get started with. We can change things, move things around, anything that you like. I'm going to send this over to you now. If you have any questions or you want to make changes, or you have any preferences, just drop me an email back and I'll go ahead and make the changes and send them over. Thanks so much for your time tonight. Bye-bye.